Hello everyone and welcome to Best Side Cycling. Today we'll be continuing our series on the I-90 trail, and the section that we'll be tackling today is just west of the I-90 bridge, where we just passed through a tunnel all the way to 12th Avenue, otherwise known as the Jose Rizal Bridge, where they recently added some new bike lanes back in February. This section of the I-90 trail basically travels right under the Central District and is fantastic for the amount of parks, amenities, and even a future light rail station that directly crosses over this part of the path. This road right ahead of us is Martin Luther Jr. King Jr. Way, and there's bike lanes that let you head up north into the central district and beyond. But as you can tell, traffic here is actually quite busy, and the cars go pretty fast. So alternatively, you can use the 25th Avenue Neighborhood Greenway, which I'll point out also in a bit. If you're not familiar with the neighborhood greenways in our city, they're basically sort of set roads that usually go through residential neighborhoods that sort of let you connect through different parts of the city. And the main thing that makes them work is that they add special bike crossings across all the big streets. So either it be a push button or sort of bike detection, they'll make sure there's sort of a safe way to connect across all the big streets as you're riding along these residential sort of roads that usually do feature more signage, lower speed limits, and other things to make sure it feels sort of more safe. And they'll definitely feel safer than or better than just riding on a bike lane on a really busy street. But as you see here, there's going to be a ton of parks as we continue along this route, just on the left and the right. But the opening to go onto the 25th Avenue Greenway is right here on the right. And right in front of us is actually the new Link Light Rail Station, Judkins Park Station, that will be part of the Line 2 extension coming out in the next couple of years. The Line 2 extension is super exciting, as it's the part of the extension that is going to go over to the east side. So you'll be able to ride from here to Mercer Island, to South Bellevue, to downtown Bellevue, to Redmond. And with the momentum of the Northgate extension recently coming out, I think this is also just super exciting having something like this. Just shows you how far it's come, and recently they've started doing their test rides and test runs with some of their trains, so it's really slowly coming together, and it's going to be really exciting to report and talk about, as it really completely changed the game in terms of how we move around in these parts and in the city. And having it right here on the trail just makes it so much more accessible to folks. So on the other side of this, where we just turned, so if you made a right instead, you'll be able to go to Judkins Parks, and that park is super lively as it has a skate park, and I always see people like roller skating and dancing on there, so it's pretty fun around here. And we're going to continue here on the I-90 trail, where sort of it'll lead us into the North Beacon Hill neighborhood, which is one of the older neighborhoods here in Seattle. But you can continue on this trail, and this trail is fantastic using for commuting purposes. It's actually part of my commute, where I use it to head into the South Lake Union area. But for many folks, you can use this to connect into the downtown corridors, into International District, quite and just as easily. But as you can tell, there's a lot, even though right here on this path, we're just right next to the highway, so there's definitely going to be some noise. There's still some amazing sights as you just look around, and you'll be able to just see just all the trees mixed in with all the different residential neighborhoods. But riding through here, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please roll over the like button and subscribe. As you can tell, this video was not filmed recently, as we've been just getting rain non-stop. But I still have a ton of backlog of footage to show you all, and it'll really motivate me if you just roll over the like button and continue to comment with any of your thoughts. I really appreciate it all. And yeah, back to the video. So now we're heading just past some of these connections you can make towards Beacon Hill, and there's going to be some decent hills gradient around here out of this whole trail where we're heading up. And we're going to be approaching soon one of my favorite parks around, at least on this part of the trail, which is the Daejeon Park. And the reason why I like this this park is that it features like a Korean pagoda, which I find pretty interesting. I mean, like there's definitely places where you can find things like this. I think there's a Japanese garden, sort of in South Seattle, that also is free. I think I'll put the name to it as it name escapes me right now, but there's definitely things like that. I mean, there's also a Japanese garden at the Arboretum, but that one you have to pay for. But just having like a public sort of Korean pagoda here, I think is pretty interesting. So, yeah, definitely might be worth a visit for just to take some photos or whatnot. And but all along the trail, there's gonna be a lot of green, a lot of park space, and definitely a lot of different users as well. But I find that on this part of the trail, it's mainly sort of either people doing exercise or commuting mainly. So we're gonna keep going along here, and the I-90 trail actually doesn't really continue that much further beyond this point. It does sort of wrap around into Beacon Hill, but then it just sort of stops. So this is probably what I would almost call the west end of the I-90 trail, as we're going to prepare to really enter the city through 12th Avenue. You make a left, we're going to be making a left here, and that's the best way to connect onto the Jose Rizal Bridge. And from here, you actually will get fantastic sights of the city, as you'll be just sort of east of the two stadiums in the International Soto area with Lumen Field and T-Mobile Park. So they'll right be there on your left, and you can already see the whole city there. And the tallest building right over there is the Columbia Towers. So it's all pretty cool, as this is part of my regular commute into the Seattle area where I head over to Salt Lake Union. But anyway, turning right here, you'll see the new bike lane. So since filming this video, they've actually even added some barricades here for more separation from traffic. But this is a highly used sort of corridor, and from here there's a few options. One is you can use the King Street neighborhood greenway, which heads westbound through International District, and that can connect you right onto the 2nd Avenue to go into downtown. Or you can even continue on 12th Avenue all the way up. There's mainly bike lanes here where it will lead you right into Cap Hill. So yeah, this area has actually been really nice to use and a good corridor to connect to all the different parts of Seattle. But that's all I had for this video. So I'll see you all in the next one.